Well met, lords and ladies. Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. And yeah, it certainly is warm today. In any case, there's a lot to update on. You've read the title, but just beforehand, I'm just going to do a little bit of a health update first. Because yeah, despite the fact that we decided that today was going to be our hiking day, my head has not been good for the past day and a half. I did get a headache like sometime during like the first couple of days of being here, but we kind of attribute that to the glare of the sun around these parts, which is why I've been wearing these the whole time. I didn't normally do that, but it seems to have affected me more this time. Might also be because like the allergies hit me around the same time. So yeah, as far as particularly talking about like the Maddie stuff, as far as that's concerned, that was one of the things that I was planning to wrap up this week, and yet you know, doing a video that's you know, somewhat stress-inducing by its very nature is not really a good idea when you've already got problems, so to speak. So instead, I've been wrapping up stuff not wrapping up, but I've been continuing to work on some Mutant Girl stuff. And you'll be pleased to know that I have found an even more efficient way of masking characters in the water. What I've been doing up until this point, in order to make these swimming effects happen, was I had like several layers that were either like cropped out or masked out when I found out how to do that. And there would be like on like the same, like it would like bisect the characters lying horizontally. Turns out, no need to do that, because you could just bisect the characters in masking and then turn down the opacity and it looks like they're underwater. And that saves me the issue of having not only more layers to deal with, but also trying to manage how exactly you know, the shading of the water lines up. Because if you put too many layers on top of each other, all you end up with is the opacity effect you're going for being negated. And that's not good. Because in actual water you can see the character's reflections a little bit, and that's like the illusion. Not that I can do refracted light yet. I might figure out how to do that someday, but for right now, you know, perfectionist headache Jacob has decided to take a rest from that. But anyway, there's more to say about the Maddie stuff, by the way, because there's been updates on top of it. It seems it's very fitting, almost. This whole thing started on the day that Maddie went to get her wisdom teeth surgery, and she was out of it at that particular point. And now at what was supposed to be the tail end, I end up going under the weather. Becoming under the weather? I can't even think of phrases anymore. That's how you know I'm not operating at 100% capacity. But yeah, I've been saving energy to record this, despite what I said to do with you know, us being at the top of the mountain, which we are, incidentally. I mean, if you can see down there is the sea. Not really sure if I can get a good angle of that. Actually, you know what? I can stretch this. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go, mountain. I need to remember to use the tools at my disposition a lot more than I currently do. Oh well, in any case, yeah, Maddie stuff. So a couple of new things have happened. since the last update. I think last time I talked about Maddie on Walking Wednesday was like the week when it was happening, and right after she did an apology to try and stop that video from happening. Not realizing there was another video that I was working on that was going to document everything for posterity. Yeah, then I might have mentioned the poll afterwards. People said, please release the video anyway because we don't believe that she's changed. She said this before, which is true. I think that was the last update. In between those times, I've been keeping tabs on some of the updates that have occurred, or rather KW has, and she's reported some of them to me. The two main things that happened this week, one of which is of minor importance that I will probably not mention in the actual video itself, and another one is a pretty major change that has occurred. So I'll start with a minor change. I'll start with the minor thing first. So the minor thing is that Maddie has started a 9th channel by my calculations. I think her idea is to try and distance herself from the drama, and so she keeps making new accounts, despite the fact that the new accounts all are usually all called, Maddie's something and something something. So it's a pretty easy Google search if one knows what to search for. That channel has no views at the moment, but or no videos rather, I should say. Although I guess by the transitive property there would be no views as well. Again, what am I saying? But it seems like there are plans in motion. So I'm not sure if I mentioned the AI plans, as far as using that to write the Ninja Girl series from this point on, which she was just starting up. By the way, better view of below. The trees have grown significantly around here. In 2012 there was a huge fire, so they've been trying to make sure that that they actually have sections of the forest that are cut down, and some of the bits just didn't grow back properly. Certainly seems like they are now. Anyway, so I might have mentioned that where she decided to use AI to write the Ninja Girl series from this point onwards, and also to remake some theme songs for some reason, even though the theme songs are somewhat, they're like minor differences. They're practically covers, so I'm not sure what the entire point was of trying to redo those. Perhaps she was thinking that a parody would at least add some flair of originality, which I would be tempted to agree on as a long-time parody artist myself. However, the thing she's missed out on is the fact that, with the AI stuff, it's not entirely original. Anyway, that's not what I meant to say. The minor difference this time is that she seems to want to start a new series, which may be on the new channel. It may not be. And that was, she was going to call it the something of Magica. To which, KW came to me and asked, because obviously KW, as the creator of Critic Lands of Magica and Earthera, had a couple of questions in regards to that. Bearing in mind that Maddie and KW have had more correspondence over the last couple of months than Maddie and myself have. So she was worried about that thing, is she trying to copy me? Did she come up with Magica first? To which I said, she came up with Magic Pop first. That's her self-insert into the worlds of, the Pops franchise. So yeah, after that, I think Kanabi mentioned something, maybe someone else did, and that ended up that ended up being what was I going to say? Yeah, and that ended up being a thing where she's like, "Oh no, I better change this." So yeah, I'm sorry about this. I'm going to call it something else. I'm not sure if she did come up with a different name. I'm not sure. Off the top of my head, I could think of like Enchantica or Hexopolis or something, but those might be taken as well by something. They are very, let's face it, even though KW has been using Magica for longer, let's face it, it's not a very original name, is it? What should I call this magical dimension? Magica. What should I call the dimension that is very similar to Earth? Earthera. It's like, I mean, we can see what you're doing here. Come on. So that's why I'm probably not going to include that in the video itself, because it's just essentially a case of parallel thinking, which, if you don't know, is it's like on a scale of you know, originality in creative works, where, you know, two people come up with the same idea by complete coincidence. Because yeah, I don't think Maddie has ever watched any episodes of C.L.o.M.a.E or not. That we're not really so sure about. Speaking of which, you know, just a quick tangent for a second. C.L.o.M.a.E season 2 started. It first aired this week. If you missed that review for whatever reason, one of the only ones I've done since I've been here. But yeah, C.L.o.M.a.E started, and actually, instead of, it was originally going to be called Cryptic Lands Inner Darkness, and but instead of that, it was just it's just been called C.L.o.M.a.E season 2. In fact, I forget if she actually called it like actually C.L.o.M.a.E or not. Now, people remember C.L.o.M.a.E is something that I came up with as an acronym, because saying Cryptic Lands of Magica and Earthera over and over again is mind-numbingly tedious at the best of times. So, you know, to shorten it, that's what I came up with, and it just caught on. Sometimes when you know, people feature on Gacha Review, a lot of the time, things that I end up saying end up becoming part of the status quo, so to speak. In this case, it's out of universe, but yeah, I guess it's catchier. It's definitely more unique and searchable, I imagine. But either way, you know, I suggest people check out that video, because I think my favorite types of Gacha Review are the ones where I have the creators on, because then I can ask them direct behind the scenes questions. Unless it's Jack's Penmel, obviously, in which case he just won't answer any of my questions and just, you know, sit there awkwardly. But yeah, either way, right, so I need to make sure that I remember which path it was to go down. I think I just continue. Whistle for some reason. For the second time, it's always whistle to me because I'm doing Walking Wednesday. Yeah, Senda Verde, that's promising. I need to do this short loop around here, so nah, you know what, I'll continue this way, and then if I have to, I'll loop around. Because I'm supposed to turn off somewhere, but I don't know if it's, you know, just keep going or not. If it gets much higher, then I'll turn around. Actually, wait, that means I might run into my parents behind me, and that was the plan, to not do that. Yeah, no, it's this way. Okay. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so here's the major thing for this week. The major thing is that that Maddie decided she was that. No, sorry, I'm trying to concentrate on the path here. Major thing. No, it was not Maddie. It was Josh. So I had a whole section in the Maddie video in the script that I had that was all to do with Josh, and not necessarily, you know, trying to like come after him or anything, because what it was all about was the fact that because he was the only person who seemed to be properly in Maddie's court, or rather I should say, well, I mean, there's some people like Iris or Treat Pop who are mostly on Maddie's, I guess, side, you would say, in this situation. It's not like there's like any animosity between any of those people, just more of a case of like, you know, who are you skewing towards at this point. But the most vocal out of everyone was Josh. Like almost any time that someone would mention Maddie on a stream, or, you know, we'd allude to her in a critical manner, he'd be like, you know, leave Maddie alone, she's a human, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's that definitely, what was I saying? Yeah, so that definitely that caught him some fire as well, and a lot of people behind the scenes were like, you know, thinking like, oh well, you know, remembering when Josh himself had a bit of a dodgy past and trouble recognizing parasocial relationships and whatever, mostly stuff that wasn't exactly relevant to what's going on now, but they were using a sort of a character analysis. And yeah, some people will take the only the negative aspects of a person and run with that, even if they've shown positive growth and change ever since. And I will put a pin on that, because I'll come back to that point in a second. To continue along the lines of Josh, uncharacteristically for him, he seems to pick a side and stick to it, regardless of what people would say to him at the time, because a lot of people directly implied that Maddie was manipulating him, which is entirely possible, because the way that Maddie talks to people that does come across as manipulative a lot of the time. And but in the case of Josh, he's like, no, she's not manipulating me, I'm doing this by myself, which, you know, I do have to commend in some way, because he's showing that he's actually, you know, he stuck to his guns in that aspect. And I thought, well, you know, eventually when the video comes out with the evidence and such, you know, he will understand that. Turns out I didn't have to wait, because what happened after that, you know, within this week, was Josh decided to cut ties with Maddie almost entirely. As you know, entirely, in fact. Apart from, he did ask to continue watching her series, but he didn't want to be friends with her anymore, and nothing that she said would convince him otherwise. And so I guess he must have assimilated what he was saying all this time, or maybe something else happened between just the pair of them that I'm not aware of. That I don't know. But then that had a knock-on effect on Maddie, particularly, because she seemed to once again become very apologetic and seemed to say, you know, I'm going to actually try to change for the better. And I recognise the stuff I've been manipulative in the past and everything. Which, now of course, people can say, well, she tried this a little bit before, and that was only under the motivation of me not making a video on her. In fact, both times that seemed to be the case, because she wanted the Warden Wednesday where I talked about her to be deleted as well after she'd apologised. But the thing is, this time it seems a little bit different. And it seems different because of how Josh was never going to talk about Maddie again. So it seems like she's just worried about, you know, losing yet another one of her friends as a result of her actions and the people who have called her out for said actions. I think she's finally deciding that, you know, the people that she trusts the most, aka the, you know, her friends that are cutting ties with her, are the ones that she should really be listening to in this regard, and maybe that's finally gotten through to her. Now, this could be me being optimistic again, and feel free to leave your comments on about the others matter. But as it stands right now, I've already promised that I will continue the video, maybe once my head clears up a bit more, because I don't want to work on it while I'm, yeah, like I said, I mentioned that already. I'm going to rework the last couple of points, because the last couple of points were, you know, that was about Josh, and then it was the conclusion, I think. Maybe Josh was chapter 8 out of 10 instead of 9. But yeah, I'm still gonna make the video, but the conclusion and the Josh parts are gonna be a bit different. I'm gonna frame it in the sense that it seems like she's making positive strides, and leave it up to people to draw their own conclusions as to whether or not they believe that's the case. I'm sure that Maddie will continue to evolve or de-evolve, and it's entirely possible that, you know, in another 2 years. Okay, I ran out of storage, so I've got 2 minutes of time. So what I was saying was that the video conclusion is probably not going to be as dramatic. I'll be like, okay, just making a conscious decision to improve and let people draw their conclusions of whether or not that's the case. At least give somewhat of a silver lining to that whole ordeal. That's what I was going to say in short terms. Last thing to mention, thank you to everyone who you know, did what I said and reminded me of the event on Saturday. I almost missed it, actually. If you want to remember, there was a since over here we actually were able to get Disney Channel without cable, I found out there was actually an event with a new Miraculous episode, like a, you know, a one-off like environmental special thing or something that I wanted to see. That was at 11:20 on Saturday. I almost missed it because I thought I had a stream at that time, but it turns out it was 11:20 in the morning, not in the afternoon. So I was actually fine. And I think that was it. I was panicking I wouldn't have enough time to talk about everything else, but it seems that just by posting a bunch of shorts, which you must have seen by this point, I was able to free up enough storage. I didn't realise because they were all like 20 seconds long each. Anywho, with that in mind, I guess we'll see how all these events proceed from this point onwards. There's also 2 movies that I hope we watched this week, because it was the week of the Spectator as well as the day of the Spectator. We're going to probably see one like today, I think. I'm not really sure. But we'll find out, because we've got guests coming, so we'll see what they want to do, whether or not they'll be too shattered to, you know, go about and do shopping or, you know, go to the cinema complex or whatever. But we'll find out. But for now, please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters, and subscribe to us already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.